Meet Pastor Jummy Opedare, a devout woman of God, wife, mother, and entrepreneur. A God-fearing woman who has devoted her time to ensuring that God's message is used to empower everyone, but most especially women. With a strong belief in the importance of women empowering women and educating each other through our life experiences, she is the founder of Women's Forum, Let's Be Real, a forum for women to work through issues and set and accomplish goals together. Held every second Friday of every month at 6 Elton Road, Lee Green, London. Keep up with Let's Be Real here on PRZ FM every Tuesday, 8 p.m. to 9 p.m.
Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Let's Be Real on PRZ Radio 109.2 FM. My name is Jummy Opedare. Thank you for tuning in again today. We are so privileged to bring this program to you wherever you are. Thank you all over the world, all our listeners, for your feedback, for your comments, and the questions that you are asking. God bless you. Thank you so much. I believe that you have been benefiting from the varieties of topics that we bring on here. Don't forget that if you have a specific topic that you want us to bring on here, you can email it to us on letsbereal@przfm.com. letsbereal@przfm.com. And if you have any comments, contribution, you can also email it to us. We are so grateful. Thank you. And today we are having a topic. We are still on the matter of the health issues. And I'm so privileged to have in the studio with me my very own Dr. Anne-Marie Oyekan. God bless you. Thank you for coming in.
Thank you so much for having me. Good evening, everyone.
All right. Okay. We are our health is so important to us. On Let's Be Real, we talk about it because it's a great privilege to be in good health, and we have a lot of part to play in making sure that we have good health. As this topic that we are discussing tonight is obesity. This is a very confusing topic to me. It's very confusing, and I'm so glad that Dr. Annie will sort us out on this particular topic today, because every time doctor will say this person is obese and I'll be wondering what are they talking about, what is the difference. And at the same time, you go to some other countries, you see these people are so big and they are so healthy and they are I got confused. I said, please come and analyze this topic to us and let us know what the gray area is, what we should be doing, when is the danger sign, when are we crossing the boundary. Please, Dr. Annie, tell us about this particular topic, obesity.
It's a very interesting topic, actually. So obesity, it's global. It's it's very prevalent. It's affecting multiple countries. A lot of people are talking about it, and it's a significant health concern. So obesity in the UK itself, we say 1 in 4 people are obese.
Really?
Yeah, so 1 in every 4th person you count.
Wow, that's a big problem.
Obese. It is a big problem, yes, and it carries a lot of, very bad health connotations with it. I think the most important thing is to basically answer your question. So what is obesity? And it's, defined in, I guess, a lot of different ways. I think colloquially people would think of, people just being big or overweight. But in terms of health, we quantify it. So what we use is a weight class called BMI. I don't know if you've heard about this at all. Yes.
My BMI says I'm borderline obese. I can't imagine. I don't understand why.
And so, there are some things we should take into account with BMI. So what the BMI is a body mass index. And essentially, the way we work it out is your weight divided by your height in meters squared. So it's a crude way of judging someone's weight. So there's a lot of things we need to take into account. So for example, if you imagine your son, Afolarin, he could be classed as someone maybe even overweight. I hope he's not offended by this. But what we need to take into account is the the mass he does carry. So he's got a lot of muscle, which will weigh a lot more, for example. So he would be someone who's overweight, but not actually when you exactly, but not actually when you look into it. So kind of the range we use is 18.5 to 24.9. So that is what we call a healthy or normal BMI. Anything over this, so anything over 29.9 is overweight. So 25 to 29.9 is overweight. And then obesity, stage 1, basically it's a BMI over 30 but under 34.9. So those are a lot of numbers, but everything
28 or 20 something.
Yeah, so that's actually not so bad, but it's
overweight.
Yeah, so it's saying that
disappear by the time I lose more weight.
So it's saying that you're borderline. And I think just after I had Emmanuel, my son, I think I was borderline overweight.
Don't say that.
No, I was. Yeah, so a lot of people, we move closer to the line and we move away, very, very commonly. Yeah.
Okay.
So it's a very crude estimate.
Wow.
So, and it's a good thing for doctors to take into account of their patients and of where they fall in terms of their BMI and seeing whether or not they're obese, whether or not they're overweight. And it just shows us that there's specific areas of our health that we should maybe take a closer look at. It lets us know if there's anything we can do differently or if we need to pay attention a bit more.
Okay, is the same thing does the same thing applies to the sports people?
Yes, yeah. So a sports person, which is why I use Afolarin as an example. So a lot of athletes will have a higher BMI.
Yeah, but does that mean that they have to lose weight?
No, so it doesn't.
Okay.
So we need to basically, what I'm saying is we need to kind of judge it in an individualized basis, which is what I'm sure a lot of people will do. Yeah.
Okay. That's fine then. Okay, now
it's making more sense.
It's making more sense to me, because the last time I went for a program and we had this BMI thing checked, I think the person did not explain to me as much as you have done now, and said, Ma, you have to do something about your weight. I said, people are complaining at home that I'm losing weight every day, and you are telling me I have to do something. You want me to disappear, as your mom always tell me that you will disappear if you don't stop losing weight.
Yeah, exactly.
And I was so confused. I said, what test do I have to do? What test do I have to do? And I don't want to lose too much weight that people are asking me, are you sick or something like that? So thank you for clarifying that it depends on individual matter. But having said that, in our culture, people value when you have a bit of flesh. Yes,
if you have a bit of thickness to you.
They said it makes you more beautiful or something like that.
Exactly.
So we should also apply that. We should not be carried away with.
So don't smile too much when someone is telling you you're so beautiful because of the weight that's on you. I think take everything, don't take at face value, and be able to discern every compliment maybe. I don't know if you can say that, but it's a very integral part of African culture, and it's a sign of wealth, isn't it? So if you look very voluptuous and you're very curvaceous, a lot of people think that this person is coming from a rich family because they're obviously eating very well. So yes, it's a big thing in our culture.
That just reminds me when my baby sister was still in primary school and somebody called her fat. And she was like, she doesn't take anything, she doesn't get angry about things like that. She said, okay, come to my house, you will have more than enough to eat, and then you will be like me. And that was the response. That she didn't feel anything bad about somebody calling her fat. She cannot be intimidated. Well, now we have to do something. If we want to know at what point, what type of thing can it cause if we are too, if we get into that particular category of being obese. What are the implications that it can have on us, and then we will know that we need to do something about this.
Exactly. Yeah, that's a very important question. So obesity, the reason why it is, you know, a problem in especially the UK, the US also, is because it carries, as I said, a lot of bad health connotations. So obesity itself has a lot of health implications, and it's associated, you know, with a lot of other medical problems. So diabetes, for example, a lot of people who are type 2 diabetic are obese or overweight. Heart disease is linked to obesity.
So it will be less dangerous for somebody that, because I know people that are not obese, they do have type 2 diabetes as well. But it's manageable, more manageable if you are not obese. Is that what
you
you're
mean
saying?
Diabetes?
Yeah.
Yes. So one of the main things that someone who is diabetic, one of the main kind of areas of focus is weight and exercise, so lifestyle changes. Because if you are, for a lot of type 2 diabetics, if you are able to decrease your weight, you can actually then change the medication. And for a small minority of type 2 diabetics, if you are able to do a lot of lifestyle changes, so losing weight, exercising, eating well, you can even see yourself coming off medication and almost reversing diabetes completely. There are a few patients that I've met myself who have been able to achieve that, and it just shows us how important it is for us to pay attention to our health, especially our weight.
Thank you so much. Okay, you said other disease?
Yeah, so as I said, type 2 diabetes, heart disease is linked to this, and following on from heart disease, stroke is another big thing that's the least, that's associated with obesity. Other things that we might not think about is things like depression, and I think very surprisingly, a lot of people will find is that a lot of cancers are actually linked to obesity. So, and some common cancers are linked to obesity. So for example, the two most common ones, breast cancer and bowel cancer, are linked to obesity. And then also very aggressive cancers have found associations with obesity, so pancreatic cancer, gastric cancers as well. So it's something for us to pay attention to. There are other things such as fertility that I think a lot of women will actually benefit from hearing about. So if you are underweight and overweight, so obese, you'll have difficulty conceiving. So it's it just shows how much more it's important for us to pay attention to our health.
Wow. So what are the okay, let me ask this question. Let me look at for a good way to put it. What are the signs that we, even before I put myself on the scale and they tell me that my BMI is this, are there signs that I will know that something is not right? I'm overweight.
So I think one of the main things is simple everyday things like mood changes, not being able to sleep well, tiredness, fatigue, psychological distress actually is linked to people who are overweight and obese. Those are things that you can get from it. Other things like breathlessness and even some types of chest pain are linked to obesity and carrying excess weight. I guess everyday things like joint pain are more common for people who are obese as well.
Oh, there was a time I was talking to Dr. Kendi. I said, all the time you people will tell us that we are putting on weight, we are this, we are that have you seen people in this? We traveled and I was showing him, I said, have you seen people like this and they are moving fast there? And he just told me that, how do you know that there's nothing wrong with them?
Yes, exactly.
And I was thinking, these people are moving about. He said, no, it doesn't announce that there's some silent problems that might occur, but some of them are sports people that we think that we know that they are healthy. They just build the muscles there.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. And I think a lot of these things, someone doesn't just wake up one day and become obese. It's a gradual process. And the consequences of obesity doesn't happen over even a year. It takes a very long time. The good news, however, is that if you start to pay attention to this, if you find that you're someone who is obese, and when you start to make those health changes in, losing weight, exercising, eating well, the kind of risk associated, so cancers and all these medical conditions, the risk of them go down significantly. So it's good news if you listen to your body.
Every time that we have Health Hour on Let's Be Real, I think everything boils down to the same thing.
Yeah.
That all these sicknesses are linked and their solution are so similar. It seems we're still going to go to what we can do to
what we can do.
To what we can do. But we just want people, we are not saying that is a terrible thing to be big.
Yeah.
But we just want you to be healthy.
Exactly.
You can be big, but you need to be healthy. As long as you are sure that the muscles in your body is not fat.
Yeah.
Because obese is basically too much fat in the body.
Too much fat, exactly. Yeah.
And somebody was saying that I don't know where I read it today, that fat hang around organs in the body.
Yeah.
It stays in the waistline, hang around others and squash the blood flow in the body. I was just reading that today. Somebody sent it to me.
Exactly.
And I was thinking, wow, we need to do something about it.
Yeah. And just to expand on what you said, because I think you've kind of almost explained it very well to a lot of our listeners. So the way I would think about it is, fat within the body is what we call visceral fat, so fat you can't see inside of our body. But it's not just around our organs, it's within our arteries, closing up our arteries that supply blood to very vital organs. For example, the brain, which is when stroke arises, the heart, which is when you get a heart attack. It can also, it being inside of the body is when patients are not able to breathe properly and have, what we call sleep apnea and things like that, where they're carrying so much weight that it starts to enclose on their trachea and they're not being able to breathe at night. So you've explained it very well.
Fantastic. So I'm learning.
Exactly. You're taking my job.
So wow, that's fantastic. This is Let's Be Real on PRZ Radio 109.2 FM. Dr. Anne-Marie is talking to us about obesity. She has thrown so much light on it that, because my confusion about this particular thing is maybe my annoyance, or I don't know, confusion or annoyance. Every time I go to the doctor and they say you have to lose weight, I said, do you want to kill me?
Yeah.
What else do you want me to do? Well, that has helped me to be doing what I have to do, not to put on weight.
Exactly.
So, and I believe that some of our listeners have been struggling with their weight before as well, and they don't know what to do.
Yeah.
Dr. Anne-Marie will tell us what to do very soon. So we've talked about the BMI. Maybe you have heard about it before. We've talked about what obesity is, and we've talked about the implications that if there's a particular health problem that is in your body, obesity can help it, can magnify it for you, and can make it to stay longer.
Exactly.
And we don't want that to happen.
No, we don't.
We want to stay in health, because the Bible made us to understand that our bodies are the temple of the living God, and we want to honor it. We want to treat it with care. We want to do what we have to do to stay healthy. We will not live a short life in Jesus' name.
Amen. Amen.
Okay, so if somebody is obese now, listen to us. Okay, what can I do? How do I get rid of this?
So the most important thing is identifying the problem, right? Okay. So if you think that, this applies to you, and even if you think it doesn't, I think it's just important for us to work on ourselves. As you said, our body is the temple of Christ, and it's our responsibility to look after ourselves in that way. So even if you're not obese, or you don't consider yourself overweight, it's very important that we look after ourselves and exercising, eating well, and looking after ourselves generally. But if you are, a good point of contact is to see your GP. they'll be able to, you know, outline, you know, small changes that you can start to do with respects to your lifestyle. They will also be able to, you know, do a simple health check, so checking your blood pressure, maybe dipping your urine, and doing a few blood tests for you. If they find that, you know, you need to start a new medication, or you know, begin to lose some weight, they will advise you on ways to do that. And you know, there's so much information around us and so many resources that we can really tap into. So a very simple one that I still use, you know, for myself every day is nhs.com. It's, you know, this brilliant website that the government is sponsoring, and there's so many things regarding eating well, exercising, as such on there. So, you know, moving on from that, one of the ways that we can begin to lose weight is by changing our lifestyles, as I've said. So eating right. And there are lots of, you know, diet crazes and fad diets at the moment. So there's the keto diet, Atkinson's diet, different types of diets. Or I've even heard about the Beyonce diet, where you drink water, a bit of salt, Cameroonian pepper, and honey for 3 days and not eating anything. So these are very unhealthy ways of rectifying.
Exactly. You know what happened with those kind of diets is after you stop, you put
it
double
all back
the
on.
weight.
Exactly. So you basically stress your body and stress yourself physically, mentally, even emotionally for a week or weeks on end, and then you find that it's not working for you. You might have lost a lot of weight actually in a month, but everything comes back on, and you're not in a better health status than when you started. So it's important for us not to listen to those.
I will recommend that you eat what you want to eat in moderation.
Exactly.
And just make sure that you don't eat greedily. The way we eat when we were younger, you won't eat like that when you are older. So just make sure that you are self-disciplined to eat whatever you need to eat and eat rightly and reduce the fatty food.
One of the things I think is we can maybe start to adopt is portion sizes. So if you look at the palm of your hand, Pastor Jimmy, the palm of your hand is basically one portion, and that's how much, you know, in terms of the food groups that we should be having. So if it's carbs, protein, and veg, a portion of that is the palm of your hand. So anything that goes outside of the palm, going onto the fingers is when it's too much. Exactly. It looks like a really. Can you imagine just eating a palm of jollof rice?
Yeah,
I'll be honest.
I do.
I don't even do that. So well done. But yes, so a palm of your hand is basically is roughly.
My chicken will be big.
Your chicken can
my
be
chicken
big.
cannot be my palm of my hand. And my fish.
Yeah, that's acceptable actually, because chicken, and you know, when it's made very well, it's acceptable. But so that's a rough guide. Another thing is
that's new.
So if you eat small portions often rather than big meals is another way of, you know, adjusting what we're eating and having. So snacking is a really good thing for people who are, you know, gymming, trying to lose a considerable amount of weight and keeping it off as well. So snacking throughout the day rather than having a big breakfast, a big lunch and a big dinner. So those are really, really, really good things.
I also learned something new about this Genesis diet, eating vegetable a lot and fruits, everything that is not body and comes out and does your body well. So people can try that as well. It's a lot of vegetable and fruits.
The other thing actually that you just mentioned, so processed foods, the big thing is processed meats, if you like. So sausages, chicken that's processed is not good for the body, and it's actually linked to bowel cancers. So or even having a lot of red meat, for example, steak. If you have steak every day, you know, your risk of bowel cancer is going up exponentially. So you know, little often is better than, you know, just overdoing it. Okay,
thank you about that. diet. Okay.
I guess the other big, you know, aspect of this that a lot of our listeners are thinking about is exercise. What do I do to exercise, and how should I exercise? So there are kind of 4 steps that I have for this process, 4 steps that I've thought about. So one thing is preparing your mind.
Okay.
Yeah, because our mind is just, such an amazing thing, and if you allow your mind to do what it should do, I believe that you can do anything. So preparing your mind to undergo this process of weight loss, if you want to call it that, or even a lifestyle change, if you want to call it that. The next thing is step 2 is what we've already touched on, so diet. And step 3 is almost kind of what we're all waiting to hear about, exercise. So I'm not an exercise guru. I believe I used to be at uni. No longer am I that. But exercising, so the government kind of says we should do high intensity exercise or vigorous exercise, or doing increased activity exercise, if you want to call it that. So that's something that will raise your heart rate. So aerobic exercise, something that will raise your heart rate and get you to burn fat. And you should do that for at least 30 minutes 5 times a day.
5 times a day?
5 times a day. So
that's a lot.
It's a lot. But there's 7
30
days.
minutes, that's 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
Okay. That's a lot.
It's a lot. But there are ways that we can break it down. So for, us that we go to work 9 to 5 jobs, using the stairs instead of taking the lift.
Okay.
And doing that throughout the day whilst you're at work is a really good thing. If you work at a desk, getting up regularly to stretch your legs and move around the office if you want, going up and down the stairs, out to get your lunch, walking and not getting a bus or whatever is another way of exercising. Walking to work or cycling, if you can, is a big way of using those 30 minutes. Okay. So if I wanted to cycle to work, for example, my workplace is not too far and I could do that. So that's a way of exercising. Another thing that you could do actually is...
Before you go ahead, what about doing the house job?
Exactly, I was just getting to that.
Okay.
So, and this is not just for women, it's not just for wives. Husbands, this applies to you too. So, doing housework, essentially, hoovering is a really good way of exercising. Lowing the lawn is very, very good, kind of upper body exercise, actually. Okay. Let's just touch on some other bits. So, what I have here is other kind of exercise. So we've spoken about vigorous exercise. What about lifting weights and strength building exercises? So there are simple ways that we can do this. For example, if you carried a bottle of water, for example, a 1 litre bottle of water, taking that whilst you're out walking, if you're older. If not, you could get weights. But the most important thing with strength building exercise is to make sure that you listen to your body. That's the very important thing. So we want you to do everything in moderation and things that your body can tolerate, because everybody is not the same.
I'm sure somebody like me now should not go and start to lift weights.
No, yeah, so we don't want you in the gym bench pressing or anything like that. But there are things that you could do. So
carrying my shopping.
Exactly.
Walking. Okay.
There are things that we can employ. Other things, actually, joining the gym and being part of dance classes. Those are things you can do, because I'm sure you know how to dance. Joining African dance classes, for example, a very, very good way of building strength and even vigorous exercise. Okay, but the really important thing I want to stress is to make sure that you do everything in moderation. Okay. I guess the kind of the other thing to touch on is we've said about walking, okay? But when you're walking, don't walk like you're going from, your couch to the fridge and back. So
it doesn't do anything.
Walking, exactly. So brisk walking is a really good way of doing vigorous exercise. If you have pets, especially a lot of people have dogs, taking a dog out for a walk. The dog will, walk a lot of people, so you can follow the dog's lead. That's another way of exercising. All right.
Yeah. I thought I do a lot of walking, but most of the time is not to the extent that I'm sweating.
No. So with a lot of this aerobic exercise, so it the one I'm talking about, it increasing your heart rate. So for 30 minutes, some people, if you are obese, you begin to sweat. If you feel that you're just borderline, you might not be sweating that much actually. But the important thing is that your body is using the fat and, the glucose and burning it. So that's basically what we're looking to achieve. Wow.
Thank you so much. So there's so many different little things that we can do to maintain our shape and not add on. Even if we are not losing, we should not add on.
Exactly.
Especially many people will be listening to us now and say that this is difficult, but at least we can prevent adding more weight to what we've got. So,
and I guess the other thing to kind of add is everything in life is about balance. Okay, so just as us talking about exercising every day and obesity, there is the other side of the coin, which is being underweight and being malnourished. So it's so important for us to understand that life is a balance. Our body works in a lot of ways with balance and us balancing things. So with all of the things that we've said, apply it to yourself individually and see and begin to make those changes. And you making a change about wanting to lose weight or be a different body shape or whatever it is, it's not something just short term. It should last you the rest of your life essentially. Okay.
Let me just through this random question. Some people have struggled so much with their weight. They think they have tried to do exercise. They've tried everything, but they resolve back to gastric band.
So that is kind of the extreme, if you like, of weight loss interventions. And if you see your GP, if you're a candidate for such, bariatric surgery, gastric bypass, gastric banding surgeries, it's usually the GPs that refer patients to these specialist centres. And, it's not something that everybody's eligible for. And even, with these surgeries, we find that, patients are... they'll lose the weight but then begin to put the weight back on.
Really?
Yeah. And every invasive procedure, so surgery, is not without its risk. So if we think you might be a candidate for it, it's things that are scrutinized in great detail. So it's important to pay attention to what your GP says and the advice from your surgeon if you have been referred to such services.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it will be the individual should make sure they investigate before they go into
so you should you should be able to make what we call an informed decision, so you understand the risk and the benefits. It's not to put anyone off the service. There are a lot of patients who do benefit from gastric banding and other bariatric surgeries, but it's not going back to what I said, continuous balance. It's not something that will change your life forever there and then. There's work that you have to continually do thereafter. So there are diet plans you have to follow, and some patients still need to be on some type of specialist medication after bariatric surgery. So it's not as simple as people who think they can cut corners and go straight for bariatric surgery. It's not so simple.
Wow. Thank you so much. Also, there are some people that really want to lose weight, but because of the weight is there already, their knees are giving way. It's not allowing them to walk as they want to. It's not allowing them to do things at the gym. What are they gonna do?
There's so many things to do, believe you me. One of the things you can do, as I said, the NHS website, there is a online kind of personal trainer tool that you can use. So patients who are overweight and obese, a lot of them are patients who have decreased or declined amounts of mobility. So patients who are in wheelchairs, for example, who've had amputations or have, as you said, knee problems and things like this. So there's, for example, there's a device I use. It's called a cross trainer. It's not it's basically you running, but your feet are placed steady on a lever, so you don't have the impact of putting that pressure onto your your knees and your feet. So there's no heel strike, which is what you do when you're running or walking. There's no heel strike, and that weight of your body is kind of, you're moving it backwards and forwards rather than hitting your knees and your feet repetitively. So that's one of the things that even I do, and I'm not overweight, but I get knee pain.
All right. And back pain?
Patients with back pain, so again, so you can use that tool, but you can use do exercises that limit the amount of movement you do to your spine. One of the things you can do is using your pain relief medication, if you have any, before you exercise and after. So that's a really good technique. So just having that pain relief on early when you anticipate that you're going to do some exercise.
So whichever way is possible.
There is always a way.
Please give us the website again.
So it's nhs.com.
We can go there and find the resources and tools to use.
Or just type in NHS into your your search engine. It's the first thing that comes up.
I'm sure people that are outside this country, you can also tap into that.
Yes, you can.
Yeah, you can use it. I know people are back home might say it's so expensive to use this, to see this person, or to have a personal trainer, or to use the gym. Honestly, this will work for you. Sorry to cut you off. Even if you've used the gym and even like myself, if you've used the gym once and you find that you've not been able to get into the flow of things and you've cancelled your membership after paying once or twice and you've returned, a lot of these gym chains have free memberships, and if you find someone that goes to the gym regularly, on some of the plans that people use, they have kind of an option to invite a friend along to go with them to the gym. And if you don't have the extra money of going to the gym, there are a lot of outdoor gyms. Okay, so if the weather's good, you can go and use one of the outdoor facilities. Wow, thank you so much, Dr. Anne-Marie. Obesity is something that we want to fight against. We want to deal with it. And little changes will help. So please, we are so much interested in your health. We are so much interested in, if anything happens, it will not be my fault, it will not be your fault. We want to do as much as we can do. I know that the grace of God will be sufficient for us to do whatever we decide to do. So please, let's begin to take the advice of Dr. Anne-Marie today and do little changes to what we are doing. And the little life that I've lived, I've discovered that when you make up your mind, as you have said, to do something, you will do it. Especially, we don't want to wait until the doctor tells us that you are closer to your grave before you start to make changes. Before they tell us, I always tell people that it's easier for you to stop doing something than when they made it mandatory for you to not to do. Like, don't eat this. If you eat it, this will happen. When you stop eating that thing yourself, you will think you have achieved. It's an achievement for you because you decided not to do it and you fulfill your decision. But when the doctor tells you don't eat this ever in your life again, you feel sorry for yourself. You're looking for pity party. You want people to sympathize with you. But when you stop it yourself, you say, I decided not to drink anymore and I'm not drinking. I decided to stop smoking and I don't smoke anymore. It's going to be a glorious thing for you.
It's so empowering.
And that's what we want to encourage in Let's Believe, that make up your mind. The power of the mind will help you. And pray also that God will give you the grace to be able to fulfill that plan that you have got. I pray that we all live in good health.
Amen.
In the mighty name of Jesus.
Amen.
Let's do our part and God will help us to achieve that which we ought to achieve. If you still have any question or that you're not clear about, please don't forget that you can email it to us on letsbelieve@przdfm.com. PRZFM.com. Let's be real, our PRZFM.com. We have so many doctors that respond to your questions. Dr. Anne-Marie is here, Dr. Dami is there, Dr. Kenny is there. Any one of them will respond to your question. Please, if you have any other topic that you want us to bring on here, we will be able to bring them on here for you. Thank you for tuning in again today. Dr. Annie, God bless you. Thank you so much, because I've learned so much. And you have also confirmed what I'm doing right, what I'm not doing right. And I will go and make amendments as soon as I leave this place. Thank you so much. Thank you to all our listeners. God bless you. Stay safe.
Meet Pastor Jummy Opedare, a devout woman of God, wife, mother, and entrepreneur. A God-fearing woman who has devoted her time to ensuring that God's message is used to empower everyone, but most especially women. With a strong belief in the importance of women empowering women and educating each other through our life experiences, she is the founder of Women's Forum, Let's Be Real, a forum for women to work through issues and set and accomplish goals together. Held every second Friday of every month at 6 Elton Road, Lee Green, London. Keep up with Let's Be Real here on PRZFM every Tuesday, 8 p.m. to 9 p.m.